Okay, so President Obama is trying to convince companies around the world that the United States is the best place to do business. The president today showcased leaders of 11 companies, both foreign and U.S. firms, that have opened new plants in the United States or have brought back overseas operations. It is part of the administration's aggressive campaign to recruit for foreign investment here at home. Last year, the U.S. took in $193 billion in direct foreign investment. That is up 16% from 2012, but it is far short of the $310 billion that the U.S. Snagged in 2008. The president is hoping that the campaign can also stimulate job growth here in America. Now, for many out-of-work Americans, booming demand for temporary and part-time employees has been a way out of joblessness. Others have no other choice. 7.5 million Americans were working part-time in April because their hours were cut back or they couldn't find full-time work. 7.5 million people. Either way, the U.S. economy is increasingly dependent on part-timers, freelancers, contractors, temporary workers, whatever you want to call them. But that is not necessarily as bad as it sounds. So said Brad Karsh. He's the president of JB Training Solutions, which helps both corporate clients and individual employees with job training and worker development. And I think so that nobody throws eggs at the screen at you, Brad, for sounding insensitive. I think what you're saying is that this may be part of a new normal. After a big adjustment, a big recession, we never do it the same way afterwards exactly like we did before.
Right. And what happened a lot during the recession is that companies cut lots of employees. So if they had 10,000, they cut down to 8,000. They got their business model right. They actually started to make some money, but they didn't necessarily say, all right, now I'm going to go back and hire those 2,000 people. They said, I want to take it a little safer. I want to go the slow route. And instead of hiring all 2,000, maybe I'll hire a handful, and maybe I'll just actually hire them on a part-time basis so that if I do run into a situation again, I'm not necessarily looking at laying off hundreds or thousands of employees.
Right. So in fact, it may be a way to change things. And I want to put up a sort of 3 points for my viewers, trends that are driving this. And one of them is profitability. I mean, businesses can adapt based on what their situation is. But number two is healthcare reform. And as we get to this point where more and more Americans will have health care, the difference between a full-time job and a part-time or temporary or contract or freelance job is made narrower.
It sure is, because there are a lot of employers that simply don't want to have to pay for health insurance for all of their employees. And we've heard lots of stories of companies deciding that it's, better to cut their hours back, as you said at the beginning of this piece, and instead hire them on a freelance basis or a contract basis, and as a result not be necessarily forced to pay some of those health insurance benefits.
People our age or older, or even baby boomers who are, getting up there, who are not able to secure full-time employment, they see it as something wrong. It feels wrong. It feels like you had a full-time job and you should be in a full-time job. What do you say to them?
A lot of times I say this can be a big opportunity, because when you think about the job market, when you think about it from an employer's perspective, the most expensive employees typically are going to be those baby boomers. Now, some are being asked to retire, some are being told that they need to retire. And as a second option for them in either one of those scenarios, there is the ability to go back and do something on a temporary basis. In many instances, you can sometimes make the same amount of money working fewer hours. Now, you don't get benefits, and you don't get some other perks like paid vacation. But sometimes if you have a spouse who's getting those benefits,
right,
it might not be the worst thing in the world.
So part of this is a mindset, though, not necessarily seeing this as a bad thing. We're still in a place. I think this is a generational thing. I think if you're under 30, you don't necessarily see the world as a bad place because there's temporary and part-time. And I don't mean to diminish the fact that these millennials would like to have full-time work with great benefits, but they do manage to adapt to it differently than we do.
They sure do. And, a lot of it is their age, and a lot of it's how they grew up. So one of the things I talk about is that millennials and the generation even after them called globals, they, to some extent, they live by the semester mentality. Now, they've had more sports, more clubs, more activities, more things going on in their lives, and they've grown up used to everything changing in 3 or 4 months. That's a sports season. That's the length of an activity or a club. That's the length of a semester. So in their mind, this idea to refresh, to try something new, to do something different every 3 or 4 months is kind of how they're used to living.
As opposed to digging in and saying, this is what I'm trained in, this is what I worked in for 15 years or 20. I mean, by the way, you changed careers after 15 years as a recruiter. Let me ask you about what you just said. I've really done a good job of avoiding even using the word millennials all that often, and you just said globals?
Yeah, so that's the generation kind of after millennials, and we're getting a lot of airtime about them. So these guys were born 1995 to the present, and in some ways they're very different than millennials. You know, we're very focused on millennials, but there's a new breed, a new generation. These folks raised by folks like you and me, Allie, they're raised by Gen Xers, and as a result, they have a very different mindset than millennials in some way, shape, or form.
And what's the main takeaway from that? What will these are people who are 20? They're at the high end, so they'll be coming into the workforce very shortly. What's the characteristic? The main characteristic?
They're a little bit more realistic. So they have grown up with more economic downturn, with more of the recession, and as a result, they're not quite as, if you will, as entitled. They're more realistic, they're more grounded, they're more used to sort of working hard to get what they need as opposed to having something handed to them.
Oh, gosh, I want to hire those guys. I want to have a bunch of them around here. Brad, always a pleasure to see you. We'll see you again soon. Brad Karsh is the president of JB Training Solutions, the author of Manager 3.0, a millennial's guide to rewriting the rules of management. All right.